How are you? This is the room.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
هذا عايش في هونغ كونغ من غير تصريح، عايش في الطابق ال18 وبدون مصعد، بيدفع شهري $600 على هذا التخت اللي شايفينه فقط.
So where'd you go for food then?
outside.
لا معهم روف كمان. You can't live here? It's so difficult.
فيها أكثر عدد ناطحات سحاب في العالم، تخيلوا غلبت أمريكا نيويورك.
أكثر منطقة مشهورة في هونغ كونغ للإنستغرامر. طلعوا. هذا المكان اللي بقول لكم عنه. شوف الناس كيف عايشة في البيوت هاي.
All of these are homes, top and bottom. They can just about fit one narrow single mattress. Here's some more, not even long enough for someone to lie down in, and there are 15 of these in this one room. Take a look inside one of them. It's not even 2 square metres, a home which will cost several £100s per month to rent. And most of the people here earn very little and rely on housing subsidies. This is the dark underbelly of Hong Kong, and understandably it's very difficult for outsiders to get access to them. We only managed it by building up trust with some of the residents. There are an estimated 200,000 people living like this in Hong Kong. The coffin home dwellers themselves feel helpless and forgotten by the government and the protesters. This man's been waiting for better housing for 10 years and lived in this box for 3.
Why don't they ever mention the housing problem in the democracy protests? There aren't enough homes and people like me are just being ignored.
Housing prices are now almost 20 times more than annual income. These are cage homes, which basically fit one person and their belongings, and they basically stack these in a room in order to fit as many people as they can in the room. And yet the price per square foot for these smaller houses just keeps shooting up. I visited these homes to try to piece together an explanation for this trend, and to meet the people who are being squeezed by the world's least affordable real estate market. There are now tens of thousands of people in this city who live in spaces that are between 75 and 140 square feet. For some perspective, a typical parking space in the US is 120 square feet.
所以好困難，始終呢度係黑暗嘅，即係一入嚟到見唔到光㗎嘛。
One of the most common strategies for small space living is this subdivided house model. This big space that's been divided up into a bunch of tiny little living spaces. These people basically have room for a bed and a table and a few belongings.
有啲就條理，有啲就求求其其咁樣。嗰啲唱 K 啊嗰啲啦，同埋啲水啊嗰啲藥品啊，好簡單嘅啫。
What makes this model work is that they have a bigger communal space where they're able to have their cooking and their washing in the bathroom open to everyone so that they can save space and save money in their actual living quarters. So this is the kitchen for this space, which is shared by 4 families.
因為每個人生活習慣唔一樣咯，成日都因為好少嘅事都會有摩擦咯，唔 OK 咯，即係好多嘈交咯。
The tempting explanation here for why the prices are so high is land scarcity. 7.5 million people crammed into this series of islands. It's going to drive up the prices. Let's see what the drone says about this. Flying over Hong Kong, you start to see that while yes, there's a very dense urban landscape, there's also a whole lot of green space. government owns all of the land in Hong Kong. So of all the small spaces, this is easily the most cramped. These are coffin homes. Could I ask you just a quick question about your living space?
一個人啫喎，多個人都唔得。呢度一個月咧，呢個位就2100蚊。你住喺三餐大約1-2年啦，香港啲住費都太貴。
Oh, it has Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
His capsules come in 1 or 2 person sizes and are meant to provide a more efficient and hygienic version of the cage and coffin homes, all at a relatively low price.
Down here there's a little box where you can put all your valuables. So there's mirror lights, there's reading lights.
But these capsules, as innovative as they are, really just put a band-aid on this housing problem. They don't serve as a real solution.
Her name is Xiao Ying. She's a 27-year-old mother of 2, and she makes a living slicing apples, trimming aluminum burrs from those iconic iPad logos. She has helped make hundreds of thousands of these coveted gadgets, but since it would take 3 months' salary to buy an iPad of her own, this is the first time she's ever seen the final product. And her eyes light up.
That's my daughter, yeah. She likes climbing trees.
Your daughter is cute, naughty, she says, which is poignant since her kids live 2 hours away and she can afford to see them just once a month. But this is typical for most of the 235,000 who work in this one Foxconn complex. Many leave distant villages to share a dorm room like this with 7 strangers. Foxconn attracts a lot of business by having workers close to the assembly line. They spend 12 hours a day in the factory with 2 one-hour meal breaks to march single file to a massive canteen for meat and rice. And if they eat fast enough, they'll grab a nap back at their spot on the line. And if Foxconn ever needs more workers, there are always crowds of applicants like this, all hoping to earn a wage Americans haven't seen since the 1950s. While the average worker building electronics in the U.S. today makes over $23 an hour and works 41 hours a week, most of the people at Foxconn earn just over $2 an hour and strive for a 60-hour work week. In a world ever hungry for gadgets, these people are all too easy to exploit. And ever since 18 Foxconn workers jumped from these buildings, Apple has been accused of doing just that. The suicide nets are still in place, just in case.
If you could improve one thing about your job, what would it be?
We're all here to work, so naturally we want better pay and benefits, she says.